Hello, and welcome to a Lowman guide to Duo Deepstone Crypt. Here are some timestamps, so feel free to skip to any of the parts you wish to see, and to pause the video at any point if needed. After sparrowing your way through the pre-encounter as normal, we come to the Crypt security. This encounter has the two normal roles of Scanner and Operator, but before covering any specifics, I want to highly recommend that both of you be on Arc Warlock with the Chaos Reach Super, for reasons made clear later. The Operator should have Lumina above the Scanner player, and the Scanner player should have Bastion, an Energy Fusion as a backup, and an Eager Edge Sword. Using the Vesper of Radius exotic chest piece with triple dynamo mods on your helmet will also be very useful in regaining super energy for another Chaos Reach should you need it. To start, the Scanner player will want to perform an Oob, or Out of Bounds, by using a Sparrow Breach at either of these two locations. The first one is much harder to line up, and leaves you with a great distance to cover to get to the encounter. But I will show it anyway, as I do see people preferring this route. This works due to the geometry of the Deepstone Crypt walls, and is performed by lining up your Sparrow with this black line on the floor, then moving left and getting off of your Sparrow at the same time, and dodging left to pinch yourself between the wall and your Sparrow. The game makes the choice of pushing you through the wall rather than through your Sparrow, as the nearest open space is technically through that wall. Then you can head to the encounter from there with a skate, or by climbing above you and going to the top. This can be done with mountaintop or just being very quick once you get through that wall. The method I prefer is a much simpler Sparrow Breach from this corner on the left side of that same room, but doesn't require any dodge. Simply push your Sparrow into the corner as much as it will go, and get off your Sparrow on the left side to breach the wall. Once through, follow the pathing I take in the gameplay to reach the first encounter. Once rallied, sit just under the staircase here when the encounter starts to avoid activating the lower floor's burn mechanic. A note here is that if you wipe during an attempt, you must reload the checkpoint, or the door to the encounter will be closed, preventing you from performing the Oob again. The Operator player who is staying inbounds should try to Eager Edge or slide whilst placing the rally banner into the wall on the right. This is so the Scanner Oob player can rally through the wall. The Operator is also starting the encounter on the dark side by picking up the Operator buff when the both of you are ready and in position. When the encounter starts, the Operator will have to kill the Scanner Vandal upon spawn, trying not to kill him up any stairs, as this makes it much harder for the Oob player to grab him through the floor, as that's how they will be gaining the Scanner buff. If the buff spawns on the far side, then you can just jump up here to grab it. Once obtained, the scanner can scan all of the panels by holding a sword and looking at specific spots in order to see each panel. You can see the dark panels 3, 4 and 5 by standing on this ledge on the right and moving the camera around a bit to see if any are glowing. You can check panel number 1 by coming over here to this left ledge and positioning your camera in such a way that it will show up through the pillar. You can find panel number 2 through a process of elimination. Reading the light side is much easier, as all 5 panels can be read from this one spot here if you crouch with your sword out. Once you have the callouts, head back onto that staircase to allow the operator to enter downstairs and shoot the correct light and dark panels. And when DPS starts, the scanner can see all 6 of the fuses from this one spot here. The scanner will be damaging all of the fuses, but can be aided by the operator for light left and light mid, as these 2 are not damageable in the same way as the other 4. For all dark side fuses, the scanner can slide up this ramp underneath the terminal and sword swing to the dark side to fight the push barrier and use a fusion like Bastion to destroy the fuses in 3 shots. This will be only 2 shots if you are buffed by Lumina from the operator below. As an additional note, strafing side to side will help you to hit the shots through the floor. Light side right is done the same way, just from underneath the terminal. Light mid and light left, however, have to be done by using the Chaos Reach Super through the floor. The scanner can do left or middle from underneath the light fuses by jumping up until their head hits the ceiling and casting their super. This makes your hand stick out through the floor so your super is in bounds. This can be done in the same way by the operator if they stand on this pipe between panels 1 and 2 on the light side. Once the damage phase is over, if it was not done in one go, the scanner simply scans again as fast as possible, and you will repeat until all fuses are destroyed. There are ways to get back in bounds again afterwards, but the easiest way by far is to simply leave and rejoin your teammate. You will find that Atrax is done in mostly the exact same way as with a 6-man fire team. You can be on whatever class you wish, but certainly 2 Titans on Thunder Crash with the exotic chest piece Curious of the Falling Star is best. This, in combination with the exotic heavy weapon Parasite built up to times 20 Worm's Hunger, is best for burst DPS here. Lament also is a fantastic option to swap off to after the initial damage. If on Hunter, go Blade Barrage with Star Eaters, and Warlocks with Cataclysm Nova Bomb. The player who will be operator should also use a weapon with ricochet rounds on. Again, we want a scanner and an operator. The scanner will do their job as normal, whereas the operator will need to self-cleanse using ricochet rounds to allow the scanner to take care of the next copy and pick up its replication. To start, you will both be downstairs and killing adds as normal, including the servitors and picking up the operator buff before going upstairs. If you struggle with time, remember that only the middle servitor really needs to die downstairs, as left and right servitors should be out of reach from the copies of Atrax 1 to make her immune. Once upstairs, do the same, killing adds and all servitors and picking up your scanner augment along the way, before finishing the last servitor or just waiting until damage starts if you left some alive. Find the copy and damage as normal, then the scanner will head downstairs and switch to lament during the traversal in the elevator to damage the copy downstairs. Meanwhile, the operator picks up the replication and uses a weapon with ricochet rounds to shoot the replication off of their own head inside any of the 4 airlocks around the map. Simply head inside, stand right up against the flat back wall, and spray up and down until the replication is shot off of your head. When the scanner is upstairs again, shoot the replication off of their head and pick it up yourself, and join them in damage if possible, then cleanse yourself. Pick up the 3rd replication and cleanse again. Finally, once the scanner has gone downstairs to do the 4th phase on Atrax and has come back up, simply guide them to the last airlock and cleanse them normally, or if you prefer, self-cleanse again. Repeat until she is dead. Descent can be done as a 2-man by using a scanner and suppressor only, and very quickly dunking 3 nuclear cores. 2 cores will always spawn on one side and 1 on the other. Suppressor will always take the side with 1 core spawn, so they will start the suppress on the side with 2 and finish the suppress on the side with 1 core at the moment the cores are about to spawn. They pick up their core and deposit where the scanner tells them, and they can then go help them with their 2nd core. The scanner will also be depositing their 1st core at the same time, which should always be the catwalk core first. Then, they quickly grapple to the last far core. If either of you needs to deposit your augment, then do so at this point. If suppressor needs to deposit, just do so straight away, and then take the core from the scanner. And if scanner needs to, just take the core from them straight away so they can deposit their augment, and then you can juggle the core a bit before depositing to allow the augment lockout timer to go down in time for the next round. The encounter is ad clear sensitive, so after depositing, you can just come sit up here at the back of the map up top, and just wait for the next round to start by itself and not kill anything. This should also help radiation stacks to decrease. Rounds are split into long and short rounds. Rounds 1, 3 and 5 are short and have less time for radiation and lockout timers to decrease. And rounds 2, 4 and 6 are longer, so they should feel easier. In Taniks, we will be ignoring the operator and instead only using the suppressor and scanner buffs. We will also be depositing the cores 2 at a time. If he is on orange, you'll want to break the front 2 cores. If he's on blue or spawn, but especially spawn, you want to break the back 2 cores to avoid them rolling down the hill and messing up that run. Here, a Stasis Titan is 100% necessary for its Glacial Quake Super, which is used to block Taniks, therefore allowing your radiation to go down more, and your Augment Lockout timer to go down also between core deposit rounds. You both want to have as much mobility as possible for running, and Raid Armor can be used to help both of you for damage resistance if you're struggling with survivability. The scanner player is best suited to be the Stasis Titan, but the player doing each role doesn't matter too much. It just helps as the suppressor will take a little longer to deposit their core, and the Titan needs to be free to block Taniks with their super as early as possible. They will start on blue side, kill ads and pick up scanner, and deposit their core as normal. I recommend they run with a fusion rifle in the kinetic slot, such as scatter signal, an exotic primary energy weapon for ad clear and heavy generation, and an eager edge sword is a must here too. Running healthy finisher or special finisher with Aeons, powerful friends, heavy finder and scout mods will also help significantly. The only thing to contend with is a detain bubble, which doesn't affect players holding the suppressor or operator buffs. The detain happens at around 4 seconds remaining on the most recently broken core, and Taniks will do an animation where he raises his hand up. In this moment, the scanner player should eager edge out of the bubble to break free of it before picking up their core and depositing it. It is imperative that there is good communication, even giving a countdown so both of you break your cores simultaneously to avoid wipes and maintain consistency. Make sure you always take the same sides so you are taking the same cores every time also. Unfortunately, Taniks can do a few things that can also wipe you in this moment of self-breaking. 1. He can do an early detain. This is just as it sounds, he will detain you before he has even raised his hand. 2. He can do a late detain. Again, he will do the animation but not detain you until about a second later than usual. Fortunately, you can counter this by just continuously swinging your sword even after the initial eager edge. 3. He can do a no animation. This is why knowing the core timer is good also, and getting a general feel for when it happens will really help with consistency. Make sure you are careful of positioning and ads around you, as eager edge tracking will also wipe you. After the first set of nuclear cores are neutralized, you will need to block Taniks from moving to the next area. It will always be one of the two he is currently not at, and having scanner can sometimes tell you exactly where he's going. For example, if he's at spawn and the cores are 2 and 4, then he will be going to orange next. Line yourself up and simply spam the heavy attack during the super to block his path. The lineup for orange side is just here to the left of the center pillar. Blue is here behind this panel. And spawn is around the end of this crack. Try not to spread the super out too much, focus instead on where he will end up, as you're not blocking his path as such, but rather his teleport. Suppressor has an easier job really. They will start at orange and grab their buff from the Vandal after some ad clear, then head to breaking the first set of cores with scanner. I recommend for this player to be a warlock and to have Well of Radiance with some braces for ad clear, as they will be running double special. That is a Wither Horde in the kinetic slot, a fusion like Cartesian coordinate which 3-shots the cores, and a reconstruction bait and switch Apex Predator. Using Aeons with special finisher and Radiant Light, Heavy Finder and Scout mods are also greatly useful. Be careful of Radiant, as it will make Cartesian 2-shot the core, and with damage fall off shooting from too far away or missing shots in the burst could result in it taking more than 3 shots to break. When you have broken the cores, make sure you stand underneath the security drone on either left or right side depending on the scanner's chosen side, and when Taniks does his detain animation, you will be able to shoot him with the Cartesian to activate that first drone. Then run up to him, tag him with Wither Horde as you approach, and pick up the core underneath and run under the last 2 drones whilst holding the core, so the damage over time with the horde ticks activate them before you can complete your run with your core. Just make sure you're both always communicating, so the suppressor can always take the closest deposit bin. Sometimes starting the suppress on a different side is better, so when you finish the suppress, that 3rd drone will be closer to where you need to dunk. The same is true if you were deactivated after the first set of cores. You'll probably have to start from the side where the terminal is so you can pick it up and shoot the cores straight away. This applies to the scanner also, taking the side where the terminal is if they have to pick up their buff again on the 2nd set of dunks. Suppressor can experience an issue known as late blue. This is similar to late detain, but here he will not light up blue for you to shoot for a while. This is always a wipe in my experience. It is seemingly caused by taking too long to break the cores, or by breaking them at very irregular intervals. So just make sure you're always breaking at the same time with the countdown, and make sure you also break the cores by the 5th meteor strike at latest. We liked to wait 3 meteor strikes for the first set of breaks, then 5 for the second, to allow time for both radiation and the augment lockout to further decrease. DPS is just DPS really, but I do highly recommend loadout swaps for both players, especially to the scanner who can swap the tractor cannon to debuff Taniks for even more damage with scatter signal fusion shots in between. Final stand also is just whatever ammo you have left, but primaries such as Outbreak Perfected are better than nothing if all else is exhausted. That's all from me. I really hope you enjoyed and learned something new. This was a long and difficult guide with lots of detail and a lot of time went into its making. Big thanks to Lo and Daston for their help in making this guide, and I'll see you next time.